And we are back with another backpacking installment from Dan Becker. I'm actually hiking Wisconsin this weekend. It is the first time I've been to Wisconsin hiking in about a year. All right, here we go. We're back at it again. Kettle Moraine State Forest, the southern unit. We are hiking the Ice Age Trail. Look, we got the visitors headquarters right over there. Got some water here. Got my buddy Chad back with me. And if you're wondering why I'm carrying an extra sleep pad, it's because I like really good sleep at night, so I'm doubling up. No, actually my buddy Mark's a big baby and couldn't wait by the car to get it from me, so I'm carrying it back in a quarter mile for him. So he better really enjoy this sleep pad, and he should, because it's the Nemo Tensor. Okay, so for those of you that don't know how Wisconsin works, this is the shelter. They got to be reserved. So this is our shelter for the night. No one else can stay here, and so kind of doesn't really help, I don't think, with hikers, because I think there's only 6 shelters in all of the southern unit, and it's a large state park. So if they're booked and you need one the next night, it's kind of difficult to make it work. So the hard part is it's making people stealth camp, honestly, is what it's doing. And they don't want people stealth camping. So if you guys are listening at the DNR, fix that. Either give us more shelters or give us the ability to kind of camp where we want to. That would be a lot more helpful. Okay, but I will say that the accommodations here are legit. Bathrooms, I mean, at every shelter, there's actually toilet paper and sanitizer in there. So it's kind of nice. And the only downside to this particular camping spot, though, is that there's really no place to set up a tent other than right next to the shelter, or inside the shelter, which I kind of like being able to set up a tent inside of a shelter, but I kind of like, being out in the open. I want to experience the outdoors. Well, good morning. It is a brisk Saturday morning. I think everybody slept pretty good. Got a little chilly last night. So here's the plan. Since our shelters we've discovered are pretty close to the parking spots at the end, we're not going to carry as much gear on this hike. We're actually going to hike back to the car, which is maybe a quarter of a mile from here, drop off some gear, drive it all the way to the other end where we're hiking to, and then that way we don't have to carry as much gear, and we're going to get another quarter of a mile hike from that site to the car, so we can just go pick up some gear and do it that way. But I am wanting to test out this pack. This is a brand new pack for me, so I'm going to try to at least fill it up with a decent amount of weight. I got a bunch of winter gear in here, so I'm actually looking forward to pulling some of it out, but that is the plan.
Why don't you get a close-up so your subscribers can see what firewood looks like?
If you're wondering why I'm wearing an orange vest, it's because this is pheasant hunting season, and it's also bow hunting for deer. So we've already seen several hunters, heard lots of gunshots, and so we're just taking all the safety precautions we can. We've got about a 10-mile hike ahead of us. The forest, I think, is going to give you guys a lot of cool views, all the fall colors here. There's a lot of hills and valleys, so a lot of open prairies, a lot of forests, so it'll be some pretty cool video for you guys. We're, I don't know, expecting to get to camp a little bit before dark, and it's getting dark early. So we're trying to move kind of quick, but at the same time we're not, because I'm slowing us down with all the footage I'm taking. But I'm really excited about hiking this trail because it's my home state. It's Wisconsin, so I want to show you guys that there are places in Wisconsin to hike. It's not a big amount of trail, it's a short trail. It's maybe 30 miles total, but overall you're gonna have opportunity to see a lot of cool stuff on it. Here's a pro hiking tip for you guys in the wintertime. Drink water. I constantly forget in the wintertime to drink water because it's not hot and you are getting dehydrated even though you're not hot. I get headaches in the winter when I hike, so make sure you drink water. So it's brisk. It's not really cold though. It's only 39 degrees in Fahrenheit, obviously. But if that seems cold to you when you're hiking like this, man, you just find yourself peeling off layers. You don't want to sweat too much. Whoa! Or wipe out. So I don't know if this is a winter hike or a fall hike. The leaves on the trail are obviously fall. They just came off and they're still coming off the trees. It's not totally typical for it to snow this time of year in Wisconsin, but it's not ultra uncommon. But it was kind of a cool thing to have the snow. So I used my Nemo Kunai 2-person tent last night. It's a 4-season tent, and was extremely impressed with it. I was able to get probably a difference of 8 degrees from the inside of the tent to the outside of the tent, but I forgot to open the vents for some ventilation. I mean, I got a lot of condensation in there. I actually dreamt I opened it and then woke up and realized I didn't. It was really weird, but halfway through the night I opened them up and it was able to kind of dry out a little bit, let some of the, the moisture out of the tent. But super happy with that thing. Performed really well. A little bit heavy. I'm not used to that. A little over 4 pounds for it, but it's still a great tent. So even though we are sort of slack packing, in order to test out this new backpack, and I'm using the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Southwest 3400, I made sure I kept a good amount of weight in it. I probably have a little over 20 pounds in it with food and water right now. So far I'm really impressed. I've only hiked a few miles in it, but man, it is just super comfortable. And also, it doesn't have this weird squeak when I hike. My Z-Packs Arc Blast always had a weird squeak, so if you ever watch some of my backpacking videos, you'll hear a lot of the squeak in it. It always gets super annoying. The guys are waiting for me. I've been holding them up a bit. Kind of nice they're waiting for me. Let's talk about the Kettle Moraine for a sec. The Kettle Moraine was supposedly formed by glaciers. The Ice Age Trail was obviously formed by people, right? But it's really interesting how everything is just so hilly. So many cool things with the landscape and so many different views, but there's parts where it's almost like a mini Smoky Mountains area where you're just going up and down lots and lots of hills. Stopping for a coffee break. We just had a group of, what, teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Young guys walked through here and asked me why I had a camera. I told them, so if you guys that walk through are watching this video right now, I'm really excited you're actually watching this video, so that's pretty cool. Comment below if it was one of you guys. That's awesome.
Staying at Shelter 2.
Staying at Shelter 2, that's right. All right, so I'm gonna give you a quick update. Mark decided he wanted to run ahead because he loves to run trails anyway. And he was gonna meet us at the campground and discovered that we got turned around at our last water source and backtracked a mile. So he caught us, told us we were going the wrong way. Now we're backtracking and we're gonna be fighting daylight. We're gonna probably end up doing some night hiking. Or at the very least, setting up in the dark. It's not that big of a deal, but kind of a bummer. We were hoping to get there with some daylight left. So my buddy Carl runs a podcast called Backpacking in Blisters. Carl, this is for you, buddy, right here. Got the Aqua Clip. He is one of the biggest non-advocates of the Aqua Clip and doesn't see how good it actually is, so I'm using it just for you, Carl. Check out Carl's podcast. You can find him iTunes, all over the place. He's also got a YouTube channel. I'll put it up here on the screen for you guys to check out. If anybody's watching this from the Ice Age Trail Alliance, you guys are doing a really good job. There are so many more blazes since the last time I hiked this. I mean, it's like every 100 yards I think there's a blaze, and the trail is really well kept. So great job, you guys. All right, so here's the update. As you know now, Mark, who's a marathon runner, ran off ahead because he just likes to run and trail run. He's almost to camp, which is about another 4.5 miles from here. And my buddy Chad, who's back behind me maybe a quarter of a mile, he's pretty beat. It's his second time hiking, winter hiking. He's got a lot of gear. So I think he's gonna opt to have Mark grab the car and pick him up at a road, so that he doesn't have to, you know, set up in the dark and freezing cold weather, because it's going to be in the 20s by the time we, probably already is in the 20s, but it'll be pretty cold by the time we get to camp. And I decided to hike on. A couple of reasons. One, I don't want to make a video where I get picked up in a car. And two, I just kind of feel like night hiking. I'm actually kind of excited about it. Okay, so Mark picked up Chad. I just saw that happen because Chad actually somehow took a bushwhacking shortcut. Apparently there was a bunch of switchbacks and he cut right through them. Anyway, he caught up. And I'm about, I think, a little over 2 miles now from camp. So, found some firewood. I know it probably looks light because the lens on this camera is pretty fast, so it lets in a lot of light, but it's getting kind of dark. About ready to pull out the headlamp here. This pine forest is gorgeous. It always amazes me when these trees are in rows like soldiers. All right, I made it to the shelter. We're at shelter number 3. The other guys we're here, but they're actually headed to the car to go grab some stuff that we left in there when we parked the car. It's only about a quarter of a mile away. It's cold, it's windy, and we're tired. So I think we're gonna light a fire, cook some dinner, and then go to bed.
Good morning. We are packing up. Gonna go get some breakfast. We're only a quarter mile from the car. And then that's it. We're going to call it a trip. I think it got down to like 25 degrees last night. Also, I slept on the Thermarest Neo or X-Therm. That was great. I used the Z-Pack sleeping bag last night. It's a 10-degree bag, and that did great. So I slept really, really good. Really good. Way better than I thought I was going to sleep. So, especially when you have new stuff and you're not really sure how it's going to go. So I was really excited about that. Anyway, we're going to go grab some grub, and we will see you in a bit.